Thanks for joining us, Vina. I'm so happy to have you with us today. Not only because I know you're a long-time Plato user and mentor, but also because I know you're a mentorship advocate yourself. Thanks for joining us, and I think that before kind of getting into our discussions, I'd love to hear a little bit about yourself and your story. So if you could introduce yourself quickly.
Thank you, JB. It's a great pleasure to be here as well. Great fan of Plato. Myself, I currently am a VP of Engineering and Data at WeWork. I've been there since 4 years. I lead and manage 200 folks in San Francisco, New York, pretty global at this point, and so I've really enjoyed the last 4 years of journey at WeWork, and happy to talk about that today.
Cool, thanks. So let's talk about mentorship. As I said in the quick intro, you're a mentorship advocate yourself. So could you tell us a little bit more about what mentorship means to you, and maybe you start as a mentee experience in your career?
Yeah, it's a simple but also a tough question. I think if over the course of years, kind of that definition has kind of evolved for me. I think today I kind of define it in 2 words, like guided growth. Growth is something that we all long for, yearn for, we personally, professionally, but often lack the structure or discipline to invest in our own growth. Sometimes you have to take that extra step to make time for your own growth. So I think mentorship is, like, for me, of many other things, one such means to create that structure for yourself. A lot of it is retrospection, a lot of it is learning, a lot of it is just through talking and exploring, what you could be as well, right? So it's, for me, mentorship has turned out to be a self-discovery process as well, and that's how I summarize mentorship for me today.
Yeah, and for us, like we work at Plato in mentorship, and a lot of people say as mentees, it's also talking with people that have been in your shoes before, and it's a very different approach to growth than like theoretical coaching or other approaches. And so the other aspect of mentorship, and the other side of the table, is being a mentor. And as you've been growing your career, and even now on the Plato platform, so you're on that side as well as a mentor. And so how is this helping you now, this new aspect of mentorship is helping you in your career?
It's amazing to experience both sides of it. I think what I've become good at, I think, as being a mentor, is a good storyteller, right? I remember through Plato, I think really amazing mentor I had. They said, I'm not good at giving advices, I can just tell you stories. And that too, very authentic, personable, stories that you could, learn a lot from, right? And so for me, I think becoming a mentor has become a good storyteller of my own experiences, the experiences I see around myself all the time. Especially, I've had a career of, 20 years or so as an IC, then I grew into a manager. Tough transition for everybody. Mm-hmm. And then from managing small teams, you grow into leading a large group, multidisciplinary groups, and then you kind of suddenly are known as a leader. And it's very scary to be associated with that word, because somehow you're expected to have answers, right? And so I think being a mentor, I think I've seen the other side of like how people around you, not just your own peer group or your mentors, but even mentees that you talk to, kind of help you shape your own authenticity as a leader. So certainly, two sides of the story for everyone, right? It's a really an experience I think we should all go through. Even a few hours invested, every week, for me, brings a lot of joy, and there are areas that I wouldn't even invest in that through mentoring others. I have learned to invest myself in. So yeah, that's how I would put in what mentorship has really done for me personally. Also for an organization when it's had a lot of challenges, like you're not always getting the support within your organization. So, right, and so the fact that I mentor elsewhere has created a network for me in being in any platform. Not just Plato, I've been in mentor in other programs outside. I was part of a tech women group. I've actually mentored girls in a technovation program. So all of those, I think, bring you the opportunities to look outside and kind of learn from that and kind of bring that back into your own organization. So, yeah.
I remember talking to mentors as well through Plato, and I remember someone telling me, it really aligns with what you were saying here, and he was saying that, it was a way, when you get to a certain stage of your career, that's one of the best way to grow.
Yeah.
And he says some people teach, some people write books or blogs, and for him it was mentoring. So I think that's exactly what you're saying, like telling stories and helping others. And so Plato's been working with WeWork for a year and a half now, so we've been very fruitful partnerships that goes both ways. And so how has this external mentorship that we're providing to your teams, how has it affected and impacted the organization?
It's been immensely helpful, and I think I've been here, as I said, 4 years, and I think WeWork has had its own transition every year. So it's 2020. I think everybody witnessed with COVID the way we work. Remote teams, distributed teams, hybrid, is the norm now. All of these are hard to adapt to for anybody, and especially with WeWork also was having its own change in terms of pivoting to a new business and adapting to the environment from its business perspective. So folks within the org were kind of pushed to taking on new roles, taking new responsibilities. Sometimes you're prepared, you're not prepared. You're having transitions both horizontally and vertically. In some cases, you're scaling up and managing more teams. Sometimes you're kind of scaling down because there is, that's what the business needs. So all of those, I think, for somebody to have a peer group to talk to, somebody especially even not just internally, externally, where there are industry leaders, they have experience, they've been through this before. And it kind of creates a safe space to talk about challenges and chart out your own growth. I've anecdotes where people have said during the 2021 when we had this program that it brings them the objectivity and grounding that they couldn't get internally, right? And so that has been like one of the key aspects of having mentorship, and especially Plato. And also what's unique about Plato is just how diverse the group of mentors are, and they're really passionate. And I've had folks in London and Singapore as well enrolled in this Plato platform, and they've had always connections. It's not always easy, right? It's like finding the right relationship to build. So you have to put in the effort and perseverance. But I think there are features of Plato, either the talent coach aspect, where I think I've heard a lot that has helped people not give up on finding the right mentors. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The other thing is a lot of the metrics and the dashboards that an organization gets, right? For us, especially since I sponsored this as an exec, it was important for me to also measure like how effective Plato is for the thing, and for us to even grow with it, right? And we added more folks to the Plato platform in 2022. So that aspect for truly has been unique because often it's easy to roll out an internal mentorship program. We've done that many times. We've done it in many companies every year, and then by the end of the year it dies down because there's no easy way to measure the outcomes of such a platform. And so that's truly like unique, I feel, in terms of how mentorship with measure, right? And so it's helped us as an organization look at macro patterns at the end of it. Mm-hmm. Even coming out of 2020, it was a lot about how do we retain folks, how do we... Yeah. So it was a tough market, right? And in 2021, we continue that trend. In 2022, we're also looking at it, broader than just retention. Like if people within our company have grown and are ready to take on new roles, I think it's something that mentorship as a platform is supporting the journey outside of WeWork too. So it's okay. So we started off with the goal as retention and helping people find their sweet spot or their passion at WeWork, but it doesn't limit to WeWork, I feel. Mm-hmm. So that's the beauty of these kind of platforms. I think it's very organically evolves on how things like this help us grow.
Cool. Well, thanks a lot, Veena, for your time today.